Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a time lapse of my sketch Aries, which is a part of my Zodiac series, and it's a new series that I'm doing. At the same time, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to be original. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the theoretical side of how to be original so that it can be applicable to people who are not just in the art field. And then the second part, I'm going to be talking about something that is a little bit more practical for artists in particular. How to be original. Something that people might often forget is that the people who come up with the best ideas are not only the ones that have failed the most, but are also the ones who have tried the most. It sometimes might be due to the fact that they generate more volume and variety than the average person, which gives them the advantage of getting a higher hit rate. Think about Bach or Mozart. Back in the day, there were tons of really great composers at their time. They weren't the only people who were really great. It might not have been the case that they were better composers than their peers, but they definitely created a ton of different pieces, more than their peers did. And if you think about the number of pieces they might have created, which could have been like 600 compositions each, only a very few amount of them were actually true masterpieces. If you look at somebody great like Shakespeare, for example, at the same time that he was creating some of his best masterpieces, he was also creating some of his worst pieces. Like, no one freaking heard of Mary Wise of Windsor, but everybody has heard of Macbeth. The same person could sit down and create something that is really great, but at the same time could create something that is complete crap. I feel like somebody who has gone through that process of trying to come up with something original has at some point looked at their work and thought to themselves, oh my god, why does this suck so much? But the most important thing to remember is just that no matter how horrible it is, you just don't fucking stop. You continue and push through and keep generating more ideas, and maybe one of those will work eventually. The more volume you generate, the more opportunities you're giving yourself for something successful. So another thing is that I often find that people fall in love with their first ideas, and oftentimes it's also the most conventional idea. Sometimes you need to weed out the familiar before you actually get to the original ideas, but some people never get to that because they're just either so in love with their first idea or they just stop trying altogether. Oftentimes I think it's also kind of hard to judge our own ideas because we're looking at it with our own lens. We don't know how other people might perceive it. So sometimes you just need to push out these ideas before it actually can make sense. So in summary, to recap on how your mindset should be when you're trying to be original is to just overall be flexible with your way of thinking before you create original ideas. So this means generating more volume to give yourself more opportunities for success. Keep trying no matter what, because you're going to come up with great ideas and you're probably going to come up with really shitty ones at the same time. Falling in love with your first idea is a very common thing, but your first idea is also often the most conventional and the most familiar to you. And that's why sometimes you have to keep trying and trying before you get to something original. And lastly, sometimes you have to push out your ideas into the world to see what makes sense. Okay, so for something a little bit more practical for people who are trying to come up with something original in regards to art, we get inspired by a lot of really great artists and we want to be original just like them. But at the same time, we don't want to copy our favorite artists. And that might be a little bit hard because we can't help but to draw in the same style as our favorite artists. We tend to stick to this one style because it's something that we're familiar with and it's something that we enjoy. And the more we look at something, the more it gets ingrained into your brain. So when we look at a piece of paper, that's what we end up drawing, that one same style, because that's what we're so used to looking at. So I think the best thing to do is branch out of your comfort zone and invest the time to look at a variety of different styles, not just the ones that you're comfortable with. There's a ton of different platforms online like Instagram, Art Amino, and DeviantArt that have a lot of new artists and new art styles that you might not have seen before for you to explore. I think when you take the time to explore and look at other artists, you would be able to learn from each different artist because everyone has their own different style and way of doing things. And the more that you see, the more you would be able to take different components from different people. And at the end of the day, when you take certain aspects that you like from one artist and take some certain aspects from another artist, you'd be able to create something unique for yourself. So for instance, I might really like the way an artist draws their person's eyes. So I might be inspired by that component and replicate it into my own style. And I might like the way another artist draws their backgrounds, and I might use that for inspiration. And when you take different pieces from different people, the style that you create at the end of the day won't be just like everybody else. It's going to be a mishmash of a ton of different artists, which is basically going to be uniquely yours. So that's basically it. Hopefully I was able to provide some insight on how to be original in terms of the way you should think, and something that is a little bit more practical for artists to use. I'm going to be doing a print giveaway for this sketch that I just drew. The rules on how to enter is to go onto my Facebook or my Instagram and to like the picture, follow me, and just give me a comment telling me if you are an Aries, or if you know someone who's an Aries, or tag someone who's an Aries, or if you just really like this picture, then just tell me you really like it and you want to be entered into the giveaway. I'm going to be doing a random draw from either one of my social media accounts. I don't know which one yet. If you want more chances to win, then you can enter in both platforms. Anyways, that is all.